We'll show.
Bradford, ever since being traded from Philadelphia, he's looked amazing. He's not just managing the game, he is taking it
Sadly
to the next
enough,
level.
just 5 years ago, that was me. Minimal to no broadcasting training or any skills. I'm Jansen Harris, CEO of the Just Good Network. Over the last 5 years, I've come up with practical ways to get better speaking with confidence on camera and doing voiceovers. It doesn't matter if you're 5 years old, if you're 70, if you dropped out of high school, if you have a GED, if you have 15 years experience in a different field. There are practical techniques that you could do day by day to get better, week by week. And I have a training program for that. If you're interested in getting better in transparent and practical ways, inbox me today or visit us at justgoodnetwork.org. Let's get better together. I'm Jansen Harris with the Just Good Network. Jansen Harris here with the Flying High podcast. Joining me is Jalen Parker. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
I'm good. Look like you chilling, man. You having some fun? How's your day going?
Pretty good. Got out of class, did a couple delivery works to make some money, and then I've just been chilling. I've been excited since you asked, so I did a little research, and I'm always ready to talk Falcons, so you know.
Absolutely. Look, wanted to ask you, what's your thoughts on the Falcons signing Wayne Gallman? Do you think it was a smart move?
I actually think it was a really smart move. You know, when we look at Mike Davis, he's presumptive RB1 for the team, right? But,
Absolutely.
you know, he came on really strong last year in Christian McCaffrey's absence, but he did kind of fade down the stretch. You know, he's probably not used to that heavy workload being put on him. And Wayne Gallman's somebody who, you know, he stepped up in the past for the Giants when Saquon Barkley, I mean, he's been missed most of the past 2 seasons. So Wayne Gallman, you know, he's not going to be a starting caliber running back, but if anything were to happen to Mike Davis, he's always going to be good in a pinch to spell him from off the field. And if Mike Davis is underperforming or, you know, struggles with injuries or whatnot, Wayne Gallman can step in and be a serviceable running back.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that because people forget back in 2020, 147 carries, 682 yards, 6 touchdowns. Those are some pretty good numbers. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
He had a receiving touchdown as well, too. 26 years old. He's back in Georgia, went to Grayson High School like myself. So happy to see the Georgia guy back. Put up great numbers at Clemson. I think this is smart. And I read an article today, and they hit it right on the point. Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot, what they want to do is they want to maximize that talent, even if it's little moves, little spending moves. A lot of people forgot about Wayne Gallman. A lot of people thought Allison was going to make this team. A lot of people like Quadre Allison to finally get some playing time. They blamed Quinn, which a lot of Falcon fans are doing. They blame Dan Quinn for everything. They said, well, it was Quinn's fault this happened. Quinn's fault that happened. Quinn's fault Allison isn't playing. Or Dirk Cutter's fault, the former offensive coordinator, 2-time former offensive coordinator for the Falcons. So I like the move. I think, to me, it looks like Mike Davis is going to obviously be the starter. He has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to show everybody that he can be RB1. He can lead that running back group. He can potentially be that 800 to 1,000-yard back the Falcons need. He could be the bruiser to soften up the defenses. And in a lot of Falcons fans' minds, if they get that running game, then this is a playoff team. So it's very important. And then you have Patterson. Cordell Patterson, who is going to be the running back. I think you're going to see him with sweeps. You're going to see a lot of little bubble screens. I think they'll put him out at wide receiver a little bit. There's no telling what they'll do, but we just have to assume that he's going to be used in a lot of different ways. He's going to be used as a running back, a lot of pitch plays, be able to use his speed. I think that'll help. But then you have Wayne Gallman, who I think Wayne Gallman's going to get a bunch of carries. He's going to get a lot of opportunities to prove that he is a pretty good running back. He's underrated, and he could show his talents. Do you see Wayne Gallman potentially being used in the red zone? The Falcons last season, they struggled a lot in the red zone. Do you see him potentially those third downs or maybe third and short by the goal line or maybe a little sneaky 3rd and 3 draws? Do you see them using him like that?
Yeah, they very well could. I mean, he's shown he can power through defenders to get into the end zone. He can make people miss, and he has reliable hands in the passing game as well. So I would assume that anything they believe Mike Davis can do, they should also think that Wayne Gallman is capable of pulling off the same similar things. Maybe not as, talented, or maybe not as, shifty as a guy like Mike Davis is, but I think that there should never be a situation where they're scared to have Wayne Gallman in instead of Mike Davis.
Yeah, I can't wait because I just assume, like you assume, Jalen, this running game, it should be better. I don't know about top 10. I don't want to get too excited too early, but I think this Falcons running game is going to be excellent. I'm curious to see how they use Patterson. I'm curious to see how they use Gallman, but I think both of them should have productive years. Seasons. And I think Arthur Smith really wants to establish that running game. What he was able to do with Tennessee, with Derrick Henry, he wants to bring that same formula to the Falcons. So I like this signing. I think he is a better quality back than Quadre Allison. I'm not going to lie. I like it. Let's move on to a week from now, NFL start of the season. Everybody's excited. Everybody's excited to see Kyle Pitts. What's your expectations for Kyle Pitts week 1 against the Eagles? What do you expect from him?
So honestly, I expect hopefully to see him line up a lot around the formation. We look at Kyle Pitts and everyone understands he's not going to be a people mover, on the line of scrimmage as a tight end. But where he brings that added value and what I really want to see, and I think what Falcons fans can expect to see, is, him get one-on-one opportunities on the outside, as well as, maybe even playing in the slot a little bit more if there's ever a matchup that they want to exploit. And so, honestly, I care more to see how he is used than to see a bunch of targets go his way. And I think that kind of is the big expectation, is to see him line up, especially seeing how well he can line up this early in the season. If he's able to play on multiple positions week 1, then the expectations for the rest of the season for him can honestly just immediately go up, because that would just mean that he's automatically a matchup nightmare and a little chess piece that they can move around the board to exploit things.
Yeah, that one play, to piggyback off what you're saying, Jalen, in preseason, when they just did a little boot and they just design play to him, he's moving. He was moving. Yeah. Like he get down the field. Like defenders wanted to get out of the way. And I think that's what we should expect against the Eagles. I see Kyle Pitts being used a lot, lined up at tight end. I could see him a lot of cross patterns. I could see them testing him down the field, a lot of play action pass. I could see them hitting him on the boot. I could see him lined up at wide receiver. I could see him being used in red zone situations, in jump ball situations. I think that's how versatile Kyle Pitts and how important he's going to be to this Falcons offense. I definitely think the Falcons want to feature him early and often week 1. Matt Ryan to Kyle Pitts, that's going to be important. Yes, the offensive line, and people don't want to talk about the offensive line. The Falcons, they have offensive line issues, but I think with the bootleg and the play action pass and the running game, I think the running game will be decent against the Eagles. That should open up a lot of opportunities for Kyle Pitts. I could potentially see Kyle Pitts week 1 catching a good 6 to 7 catches for 100 yards. I could see him doing that and a touchdown score against the Eagles. I don't know yet, Jalen, if they'll win the game, but I could see that type of production. Look, can you see that happening too? Do you think that they're going to use him often and try to get him involved? Yes, Calvin Ridley's the number 1 guy, but I could see him early and often, Kyle Pitts.
I think Kyle Pitts, honestly, he could be the favorite to be the second leading receiver on the team this season. Very, very, Russell Gage is a solid wide receiver, and Hayden Hurst is a serviceable tight end, but neither one of them bring that wow factor, the ability to make those big impact splash plays that Kyle Pitts does. Kyle Pitts might even be better than them with the ball in his hands, let alone as a receiver and the things that he can bring in the passing game. And when you look at the Eagles, I mean, I still think they have a very solid defensive line. And with that being said, they can still be exploited by their secondary and their linebackers. Those are two weaknesses on that defense, in my opinion. So that's something that Kyle Pitts can step right into and take advantage of. And so, yeah, if he has, I think the floor is at least 3 to 4 catches, honestly, and then 40 to 50 yards. And yeah, if he gets a touchdown, I would not be, I could see him getting one or two. You know, it's just one of those things. The sky's the limit. And I think that the floor for him is just super high, probably every game. I think the Falcons, the defense is still going to be, you know, we don't know yet. But, and so are we going to be surprised if week 1, Matt Ryan throws the ball 40, 45 times? You know, so, and if he does, then Kyle Pitts will for sure get his share of looks.
Yeah. Some Falcon fans, they probably don't want that to happen if they want to establish the running game. But yet, look, if the running game is not there, yeah, Matt Ryan's going to have to drop back and throw 40, 50 times. And hopefully the offensive line blocks. But I'm with you on the defense. Will the defense show up? That's another story. That's another question. We have to see how things rock because the Falcons defense, hopefully.
To be decided.
Yeah, the Eagles gave up a lot of sacks last year, though. That offensive line was injured. That offensive line was bad. So Dean Pease, hopefully the play calling and the blitzes, I think it could take advantage of the offensive line of the Eagles. I'm seeing a lot of articles, PPF, talking about the Eagles offensive line. Look, we have to see them because last time I seen the Eagles offensive line, and yes, there's some changes that were made, and yes, guys are healthier and it's different quarterback. They still got to prove themselves too. That brings me to my last questions here on the Flying High podcast presented by the Level 1 Game Room and Your Future Media. And Jalen Parker here breaking everything down with me. Matt Ryan or Jalen Hurts, who wins this quarterback matchup in week 1, in your opinion?
Well, see, I always want to say Matt Ryan. Obviously, I go to the University of Alabama. I am a huge Jalen Hurts fan.
Yeah.
That being said, Matt Ryan is a proven veteran. We know what he brings, and we know that he is extremely consistent. We also know that last season, statistically, Jalen Hurts was one of the worst passing quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, obviously, like the Eagles were a mess last year, but so were the Falcons, and Matt Ryan still played fairly well the entire season. And so when I look at it, the biggest thing for me, I will take Matt Ryan over Jalen Hurts, and I expect him to play better. The issue is Jalen Hurts is going against the Falcons defense, and Matt Ryan is going against the Eagles defense. And while the Eagles defense might not be top tier, they still have some guys on that team that can make plays. You know, I think of Darius Slay, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. They still have some solid guys on that defense that, you know, and like you said, we're talking about, you know, the Falcons O-line, you know, they have a lot of draft picks on there, but I mean, Fletcher Cox might be the second or third best defensive tackle in the NFL still. Okay. So when I think about that, I expect Matt Ryan to play better, but I will say that Jalen Hurts has a much easier path.
Yeah, I'm going with Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan will throw. Let me go out and say this. I think Matt Ryan's going to play better. I'm going to say Matt Ryan throws at least 3 touchdown passes. I think this is the game, and I'm not too high on the Falcons going deep into the playoffs, this, that, and the third. But for some reason, I don't respect the Eagles that much. I think Jalen Hurts can make some plays, but it's a question mark. Yes, the Falcons secondary as a whole is not proven. There's some new guys there, and they're ranked one of the worst secondaries. I think Jalen Hurts will make some plays, but I think this is going to be a game where Matt Ryan, yes, I've been critical, and other people, this is going to be one of those shut-up games. It's going to be one of those, hey, I'm still Matt Ryan. I can play at a high level. It's a new offense. I think he comes out hot. I could see this being a 3 to 4 touchdown passing game for Matt Ryan. Look, I say what I say about him, but we're talking particularly this game. I think Matt Ryan is going to play huge. I think Matt Ryan and Kyle Pitts obviously is going to be a matchup we have to watch for. They're both set to have good week 1s. Calvin Ridley should also have a field day. If the Falcons offensive line could be kind of solid or kind of better than what we expect, I think this Falcons team is going to win by at least 2 touchdowns. I think Matt Ryan has a huge day. I don't think he's going to throw an interception. I'm pretty high on the Falcons week 1. Yes, the Eagles' defensive line, if they tee off early, then that just shuts down my whole argument.
Scary.
Yeah, it could be, Jalen, and I kind of feel you on that. I'm assuming you think Fletcher Cox is just going to go off and get to Matt Ryan consistently.
I mean, he very well could. I mean, I know that just from everything that I see, guys are like, that might be the most powerful man in the NFL when he gets his hands into your chest and is pushing you back as hard as he wants to. But at the same time, I think one thing that, and this is a narrative that I haven't really heard too much about, but I think Matt Ryan might have a chip on his shoulder this season. I mean, we can say that, or, we've probably heard a lot of people say Matt Ryan would be nothing without Julio Jones. Julio Jones is the real top player on the Falcons, and he makes Matt Ryan look a lot better than he is. And now we get to see how Matt Ryan, after a long time in the league, how he transitions to not having the Hall of Fame wideout Julio Jones on his team. And, I think he hears all the whispers of, oh, Matt Ryan doesn't have it. Oh, he's nothing without, this elite level wide receiver. And so if he comes out on fire saying, hey, I'm still that guy, I'm still an elite level quarterback in the NFL, and I can single-handedly win this team games if given the chance, he very well, like you said, he could absolutely go off.
Yeah, man, I'm just ready. I'm ready for football. I'm ready for football to kick off. This right here, it seems like a 50-50 game. I feel like it's a great betting game, Jalen. I think that people in Vegas are going to love it. I got friends who bet all the time, quarter by quarter, touchdown pass by touchdown pass. But I feel the Falcons will win this game. I think Matt Ryan play huge. Like I said before, Calvin Ridley will play huge. Yeah, the defense, I'm hoping for some type of pass rush. They get to the quarterback. Maybe 4 sacks, 3-4 sacks. Maybe I'm asking for too much. I'm too high on the Falcons. But I don't trust that Eagles offensive line. I just don't trust them. I don't know about them. Let me ask you this. Do you have a score prediction for the game? This is kind of a tight matchup in a way.
Yeah, I think I could very easily see both teams I would expect both teams to at least score 21, 24 points. I wouldn't be surprised if the final score is something along the lines of 27-34. And you could honestly pick either of those teams to have that 34, in my opinion, But of course, I'll go with the Falcons, So I expect every Falcons game to be, I don't think we're going to expect the Falcons to be winning any games, 14-10. Or anything like that. So I would expect something along the lines of like a 27-34 or 24-34 kind of victory for the Falcons.
Jalen, quote me on this. Here's my prediction: 34-20. That's my pick. I'm sticking with it. I think week 1 we're going to see a pretty good Falcons team against the Eagles. But Jalen, thank you for showing up, joining me. We did it. We're going to be doing more big things together, more Falcons talk, more NFL talk, NBA, the whole 40 yards. All right, let's go with 40 yards
excited.
Today. Yep. The Flying High podcast, Jansen Harris here with Jalen Parker. We're presented by Your Future Media and the Level 1 Game Room. Thanks for joining me, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.